Russian ballet is widely considered one of the greatest ballet schools in the world. A system that has produced an extraordinary concentration of legendary dancers. From the Imperial era to the Soviet stage and beyond, Russian-born male dancers have shaped what ballet looks like today. In this video, we count down the top 10 greatest male ballet dancers from Russia, artists who changed technique, performance, and history of ballet itself. Let's dive in. Vaslav Nijinsky was one of the first true ballet superstars, transforming male dance technique like no one before him with his astonishing elevation, strength, and expressiveness. He starred in Falcon masterpieces and then shocked the world with his own choreography of The Rite of Spring, a work that changed ballet forever. No real film of his dancing survives to our times, yet his influence is still felt today. Despite his brilliance, his life took a tragic turn when he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, forcing him to retire early and ending a luminous career far too soon. Yuri Soloviev was a premier dancer of the Kirov Ballet, nicknamed Cosmic Yuri for his extraordinary elevation and technical prowess. He danced iconic roles like the Bluebird in The Sleeping Beauty and Solar in La Bayadere, winning the Nijinsky Prize. Despite his soaring success, his life ended in tragedy, leaving behind a mythic aura around his artistry. Dominant principal dancer of the Kirov/Mariinsky Theater, celebrated not for classical perfection, but for the sheer passion and explosive energy he brought to the stage. Rather than relying on ideal physical proportions, he compensated with intensity, musicality, and fearless commitment. He became unforgettable in roles such as Albrecht in Giselle and Ollie in Le Corsaire, and later danced as a principal guest with American Ballet Theater. After his performing career, he moved into leadership roles, shaping new generations of dancers. Vladimir Malakhov trained at the Bolshoi School and became a global star as both principal dancer and artistic director. From the Vienna State Opera to American Ballet Theater and Berlin Staatsballet, he was celebrated for his breathtaking technique, versatility, and musicality, with Dance Magazine naming him Best Male Dancer in the World in the early 90s. Nikolay Tsiskaridze dominated the Bolshoi Ballet for over 2 decades, performing a repertoire of more than 70 roles and becoming one of its most recognizable and beloved stars. He became known for his dramatic presence and uncompromising classical style. After retiring from the stage, he controversially became artistic director of the Vaganova Academy of Russian Ballet in St. Petersburg, a move that initially divided the ballet world. Over time, he established himself as a powerful educator and leader, continuing to carry the Russian ballet tradition forward into a new generation. Sergei Polunin burst onto the scene as the bad boy of ballet, with controversy and intense media attention following him throughout his career. Behind the headlines, however, was a dancer of extraordinary power and charisma. At just 20 years old, he became the youngest principal dancer in the history of London's Royal Ballet, hailed for his explosive technique and raw stage presence. After abruptly leaving the company, Polunin reinvented himself as a global freelance star, crossing into fashion, viral performances, and film. Loved or criticized, Polunin reshaped how ballet could exist in the modern spotlight. Alexander Godunov was a Bolshoi principal with commanding stage presence and dramatic strength, winning international acclaim before his dramatic Cold War-era defection to the U.S. in 1979. There he continued dancing, joined American Ballet Theater, and later transitioned to film, appearing in hits like Witness and Die Hard, blending ballet's intensity with cinematic villainy. Vladimir Vasiliev stands among ballet's most powerful male dancers, a defining figure of the Bolshoi theater during the Soviet era. As its leading male star, he embodied strength, virtuosity, and dramatic intensity at a time when ballet carried immense cultural weight. He became legendary through his collaboration with choreographer Yuri Soloviev, most famously in Spartacus, a role that redefined heroic male dancing and influenced generations to come. After retiring from the stage, Vasiliev continued shaping ballet as a choreographer, educator, and director of the Bolshoi theater, leaving an enduring mark on both its artistic and institutional legacy. Mikhail Baryshnikov is perhaps the most famous ballet dancer in the world, an artist whose seemingly perfect technique, musicality, and mastery reshaped what classical and modern ballet could be. Trained in the Soviet system, he stunned audiences early on before defecting to the West in 1974 in search of artistic freedom. He became a defining star of American Ballet Theater and later New York City Ballet, working with the most influential choreographers of his time. Beyond dance, Baryshnikov built a major acting career in film and television, earning international recognition and award nominations. After retiring from the stage, he served as artistic director of ABT and later founded and continues to direct the Baryshnikov Art Center in New York, a vital hub for contemporary artistic creation. Rudolf Nureyev is widely considered the greatest male ballet dancer of the 20th century. A fiery technician with magnetic charisma, whose defection from the Soviet Union in 1961 electrified the dance world. Eccentric, demanding, and relentlessly driven, he was also a legendary workaholic, pushing his body and artistry far beyond conventional limits. His historic partnership with Margot Fonteyn transformed classical ballet, redefining works like Swan Lake and Giselle and elevating male roles to equal dramatic importance. As director of the Paris Opera Ballet, Nureyev reshaped the company's repertoire and technical standards. Already seriously ill at the age of 52, he returned to Russia in 1989 to appear one last time on the stage of the Mariinsky Theater, a deeply symbolic homecoming that sealed his legacy as revolutionary artist and icon. And with that, we've come to the end of our countdown. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Russian ballet legends, let us know in the comments. Who do you think deserves first place? Do we miss someone who should be part of this video? If this list inspired you, leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe for more stories from inside the world of dance.